Hello there. Now, last week for 15 years of Lego, I made a few videos based on my 15 years of collecting Lego. Do be sure to check them out already. Thank you so much for all your support on them videos and all the subscribers I got from them. We are going to try to reach 700 subscribers by February, so be sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on awesome Lego content. But I made a video on saving money whilst buying Lego, and it did go down pretty well, and I didn't mention the key part of saving money with your Lego collection, which is of course looking after Lego. So I've got a few bullet points I just want to cover, and before we get into this video, I was sorting out my stud drawer, which has overpacked. If you do want to see that, I'll probably include a updated storage video in the future. But I come across this dark metallic gold piece, and half of my studs were just broken. I don't know if you can really see, but there's a crack on all three of these studs. And it's sort of the new old brown colour, which if you didn't know, I think it was the reddish brown. Just was so weak it snapped every time you'd clip it to a piece. And just wanted to let you know that sometimes pieces aren't made to be clipped together. I guess it's probably an old colour. I'm not sure if Lego still make it, but it is very fragile. So that brings us to the first point, and that is just taking care of your Lego bricks and using the right tools to, I guess, separate bricks and clip them together. You don't want to put too much force on your Lego bricks, even though a standard 2x4 brick can hold quite a lot of weight. If you don't know how much weight, Google it. It's a lot more than you'd expect. And once you've got a few of them together, they can just hold up so much. But you've got tools such as brick separators, which I like to give mine some fancy eyes. I even have an orange one somewhere that has some bigger eyes because they just look a lot better when you're using the eyes. It gets a bit annoying when you've got to remove a piece from underneath, but a lot of what I build is sort of top down and I only need the bottom of them. So I've given them all personalities. It's only weird if I start naming them. And we also have the early brick separator, which is this spanner piece here, which many people don't actually know is not only used to remove bricks, but also to put them on. So if you were trying to attach a stud in a tight gap, what you can do is attach it to the top of this spanner and just place it in the gap, push down, and the brick is put on. It's a lot better than trying to put it at an angle, putting force on it, and ultimately snapping the pieces, which is probably what happened to half of them gold pieces. But this does also work the bottom of it, this sharp point to remove your bricks, and works for one by anything if you're trying to remove it at the narrow end, as there is a minimum of 2 studs on this piece, and even if you're trying to use this piece to get rid of a 1 by something, it puts on too much force, you're likely to snap it in half. So the first tip on today's video is just looking after your bricks, making sure you're not breaking them. I, for a long time, stored my Lego in a giant bag, which I'd always step on the corners of, and I think that's one of the reasons I have so many broken pieces that I've sorted out of that bag, just because there wasn't enough care taken in. So if you can, use brick separators when pulling apart models. There is a very fun feature on the bottom here where if you angle it at any of the tiles, any piece that has a groove, you can just slide it along and they all pop off. Just be careful to wear safety goggles because you honestly don't know where they're flying. They're little mini projectiles themselves. But make sure you also store them in some rigid containers. I've now moved all my Lego, well, I'm in the process of moving Lego. Lego is never fully sorted, but I'm in the process of moving my Lego to these drawers over here. Not only am I separating them by a piece, I'm also storing them together because if there's a bunch of loose pieces in a drawer, they're more likely to rub each other the wrong way. One of them might end up broken. So I actually clip them down, and whenever I need a piece, I grab my trusty brick separator, just pop off the top piece, and it just makes sure that none of them are rubbing and sort of eroding at the Lego, which of course will take a long time, but 15 years is quite a long time for plastic bricks. Now, of course, if you have got built models, you're going to want to keep them clean, and honestly, the best tool for keeping Lego clean, because you're not going to remove the dust out of the air. An air purifier does work for slowing down the process of Legos collecting dust, but they're going to collect dust over time. I suggest a makeup brush is kept at hand at all times. Honestly, these are the best brushes for just cleaning the surface, and they're so soft that they're not going to wear down on the Lego like a bristled brush would. and they just do a great job on cleaning models. They're nice and delicate, and you can even use a smaller one or perhaps a cheap paintbrush, which might be a lot cheaper to get your hands on than a makeup brush. But if you know someone who does have a lot of fun with makeup, just ask for an old brush, make sure you've cleaned it, and then you can just dust away at your models about every month. If you do have an air purifier, you could probably even do it every 3 months, and that would just keep them looking very clean. As long as you don't have a load of foot passage and a load of sets near the floor, then it shouldn't be a problem. Of course, the lower your sets are and the more people in your room, the more dust it's going to pick up, because it is us that are bringing in the dust most of the time, not necessarily the air from outside. But always have a trusty makeup brush, paint brush, or a soft bristled brush at hand. And honestly, that goes the same for many different things, like my keyboard I'll also clean with the same brush. And when it comes to the shelf itself, I just get a microfiber cloth. I'm able to brush the dust into a pile, sweep it up, and actually hoovering is better than sweeping up the dust, because it just makes sure you get all of the dust. It just sucks it all up. A brush will end up putting the dust into the air again, so if you can hoover quite regularly, it does help keep the dust off your Lego. But we've made sure we're taking care with our bricks. We're dusting them every month. What else can we do? Well, you can actually keep Lego in sealed containers. I'm not sure if you can quite see somewhere behind these helmets. Let me clear it for you. You can see behind these helmets, well, you can't see the helmets anymore, there is an acrylic case that is officially made and sold by Lego. I've got a red and a blue. I believe they also come in tan for a Harry Potter line. They come with backgrounds as well. I've removed mine because I like it just being clear and seeing the wall behind it. The nice claret wall. But you can store not only minifigures, you can store about 6 Speed Champion sets. Even a lot of the little sets like battle packs and the Yoshi set that I turned into a diorama yesterday. You can store so many different things in the acrylic cases. You can even buy your own acrylic cases. There are many companies that make some awesome acrylic cases that are custom made for certain of the larger sets, and it just enables you to keep any dust out of the case. There will be very minimal dust in the actual case from when you put it together, but unless you're storing your Lego sets in a vacuum, that's going to be a problem anyway. You can also just buy glass doors for any cabinets and shelves that you've got them on. You can see down here where I have my other Star Wars memorabilia and my Funkos, I've actually got a glass door on the front because I don't want to dust the bobbleheads too often. I'm happy dusting Lego, but when it comes to bobbleheads, I leave them in there. And since I last updated the characters in there, I don't even think I've dusted it once, because the glass door does seal the unit. These are IKEA units. If you position the doors right, you can seal them in there, and it saves you having to worry about any dust besides the dust that you let in. Now, of course, if you do have units that are a bit tall, I think about shoulder height is the height I'm willing to go with mine without trying to keep them carefully, such as my shelves up above my desk. You're going to want to secure some of your Lego. You don't want any big models near the edge of any of your shelves or anywhere they can fall off, because if they do fall off, chances are, if you don't get any broken pieces, you'll just have a load of pieces all over the floor. And trust me, if you end up spilling any of your units, I think I spilt 2 of them quite a while back when I was starting to sort it's a lot of mess to tidy up, and you've got to find the instructions, go back through them, find where this missing piece is. It's a lot of hard work that honestly, if they were secure in the first place, you wouldn't need to do. So my next tip is just making sure Lego isn't in a position where it is eventually going to fall, because as long as it's not going to fall, you don't have to worry about it. Now, the occasional set might be dropped from time to time. I know I'm not exactly the clumsiest person, but even I just throw my sets around sometimes, break off parts, and it cannot be helped when you're dealing with so much Lego. But as long as it's secured, if you do have any shelves or especially cabinets that go from floor to ceiling, make sure they are supported at the top. Just a screw into the wall holding the cabinet, making sure the cabinet itself will not lean forward, and anything with wheels is very dangerous. I tend to position it at an angle so that if it does roll forward, there's normally some other build that will just catch one of the tires, stop it falling off the shelf. And there's builds like Han's Land Speeder, which is on just the plastic wheels. there's not even any grips or anything on the tyres, so that's just going to slide right off if you position it on a wonky shelf. Of course, you could try your luck and just make sure you install the shelf straight and hope it doesn't slide, but chances are all it's going to take is that 1 degree for that to come sliding off. And if you've got a whole collection of Speed Champions, you don't want them ending up on your lap. Now, the final tip I'm going to talk about today is that right behind me, the big curtain blocking out all the sunlight. Lego doesn't fare too well with sunlights. Now, you may see models in Lego stores, in Legolands, in any sort of Lego display that are in a shop window or that are out in the public, bathing in that sunlight, but they are most likely coated in some UV sun cream for the Lego bricks, which if you look closely enough, try and find the Lego logos on them bricks. A lot of the time they'll have worn down just because of the amount of coats of UV protection they've been given. Lego does not like sunlight. It's not a fan of sunlight. It's a fan of dark rooms just staying up on a shelf. So where possible, if you can position your Legos so that it's on the wall with the window, that is your best bet, as it's not going to get any direct sunlight. Or as behind me you can see, a lot of the Lego is in a unit. You can see my minifigure display is even to the window side of that unit. So when the light is coming in, it's shining on this wall here and missing all of my Star Wars minifigures, because a lot of them are very, very expensive to replace, if I can even purchase them to replace them. So I don't want them being worn down, the print fading, and a lot of the time it's just the quality of the Lego brick, the colour that is fading with these bricks. They don't necessarily weaken the Lego, but it's just not very nice to look at once it's been bleached by the sun. So if you can keep them away from light, you can also, if you have some sort of acrylic case or glass display case, just board up one of the sides, not with anything that's opaque, but even translucent materials that give it a nice colour on the Lego bricks and just block out most of the UV sun. Here we have a blackout curtain that actually glows in the dark. The stars are really cool, and I have tried to show that off before on this channel. They don't really come through in picture quality, but it's really nice because it doesn't let really any of the light come through, and that means that it's blocking out most of the UV rays that are reflected to the outside, and it keeps my Lego looking fresher for longer. And honestly, that is the biggest tip for most people that leave their Lego in a window or leave it on display. I'm not saying don't do that. You can do it. Just be prepared for over a few years that will start to bleach and the color will fade, and the printing doesn't always last that long in the sun either. So it's just something to be mindful of when you're displaying Lego. Will you want it to look as good as it does in a few years' time? Chances are you might want to keep it out of the sunlight. Don't drop it on the floor accidentally if you can manage to stop yourself. If you want to pull it apart, these brick separators are sold in all Lego stores. I think they're about the same as a CMF box, so they're not too expensive. And if you're like me with a bunch of Lego sets, eventually you do end up getting a whole collection of your own. So you can see all the Lego brick separators that I've collected from over the years. I haven't bought one of these. They've all come in sets, and I've got a nice little tin to keep them safe, because even the brick separators do wear down when you're removing bricks. The edges of them here just get a bit bumpy, and eventually you could probably sand them down and make them nice and flush again. But you're going to need to replace this after so long. I'm yet to throw away a brick separator, but I can definitely tell you that they're sort of losing their efficiency over time. So here are all the tips I had from this video. If you wanted to jot them down or just take a mental note so you are making the most of your Lego bricks. And I hope you learned something in this video. This is one of the easiest ways to save money on Lego. Rather than buying replacement bricks or replacement stickers for sets that you've disregarded in the past, just taking care of your Lego saves a whole chunk of money and really makes your Lego go further, because you can end up turning it into mocks like my Mario diorama from yesterday, and all the other ones to come are only possible because I've looked after most of my Lego bricks. Of course, even I have a few broken pieces, so at some point in the future I will make a video with what you can do with your broken pieces, because I don't exactly get rid of them. I keep a hold of them because they come in quite useful for different creations. So that is a video for another day. I've talked long enough. I'll let you get back to what you're doing. Don't forget to like if you did enjoy this video, subscribe for more awesome LEGO content, and to get us to 700 subscribers by February. I think I said it in yesterday's video. I mentioned it at the start of today's, and I really do think we can hit 100 subs a month. That is my challenge for this channel, so be sure you are subscribed, as there's still so many of you not. I appreciate all the love and support from this channel from the last year, and may the bricks be with you always.